Hey folks, and welcome to this video. Today we are going to have a look at the Pipnotic asset strength histogram and algo trader. The main difference between the asset strength software and the currency strength software is that number one, much less data is being used to achieve about 95% of the same accuracy, and so it's using much less data, which resulting in much lower overhead on the computer, but the results are almost identical. And the benefit of using the asset strength software, histogram, and the algo trader is that the data is much more smoother, which I really like. And so it's being massaged in a different way, so we're getting much smoother readings. You see this is a much smoother slope in contrast to the histogram for the currency strength, where it'd be a little bit more kind of erratic. Okay, and so using it this way, it's a little bit smoother. The data is being massaged in a slightly different way, which I like, and it's giving us pretty much the same result, which I like. And it's 10 times faster, 10 times more efficient because I'm using much less data. Okay, and the cool thing about this as well is notice now that it's actually scanning gold and silver. As you can see here, it can be used to scan cryptocurrencies, other commodities, and anything else. So anything that your MT4 broker has a price feed for, and which is visible in the market watch window here, this robot can trade. So if we go here and we look at this, we can use this here to tell us what silver is doing relative to the dollar. Okay, and so you can see when price poked into here from around here, one of this long push here, we had a pretty good idea that price was going to slow down. It did so, and it started to turn around here. Okay, so this is really, really cool, and the beauty about it is that you can use it to scan absolutely anything, and I really like that feature. Where before we were limited to currencies, now we're not limited to anything at all. You can use it for stocks, for the bond market, for absolutely anything, the VIX, the dollar index, absolutely anything, whatever you like. And I think that's a huge advantage. Okay, so we have that. We have the histogram that you can see here, and the configuration options are pretty much identical to those on the currency strength histogram. Okay, the only difference is that we have this section here, which is defined, which is a look back setting. We have actually two configuration options here. We have the fast and the slow. Okay, where previously there was only the look back, and that would be set to 30. Then we have a fast and a slow one, and I use this to help me massage the data a little bit. Then we have another section here, which is JSON, and this is just in my development version that I'm using. This will not be visible in your version because it's completely unnecessary. It's just a small experiment I'm doing currently, so you don't have to pay attention to the JSON section. We have the same data here. We have the execution interval for the algorithm. We have the mean, enable the mean, enable the variance. So now you can enable or disable these lines here. We have the mean periods, which is set to 200 per default. You can change this to whatever you like. We have the modifier. Okay, and we have the alarms, and the alarms here are the same as they were in the previous software, where the alarm interval, if the chart is not changed, it will sound, rather it will run, it'll execute the scanner 2 times an hour. And when this is set to true here, it will only look at what is available in the market watch window. If this is set to false, it'll scan everything that your broker has access to. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And then we have the periods. We have the max period and the min period. So now it's going to scan everything from the daily down to the 30-minute chart. Okay, and so everything in here on the daily and down to the 30-minute chart, it is going to either be disabled or enabled here, as you can see. And if you have push notifications configured in your terminal, then you can set this to true, and then you can get these alerts on your computer. And this is really beneficial if you have the software running on a computer that's always on. So like a computer at home or a VPS, you can configure the push notifications on your MT4 terminal. Then you can get these alarms on your MT4 Android or iOS app, which is pretty cool. It's a nice feature. Okay, and that's pretty much it. The functionality is the same essentially. And what I like about this is, instead of only seeing the most recent reading, which I had to do because the calculations were insane, and having to generate values for each bar all the way back, I mean, it would have been craziness, and I didn't want to do that. And so this enables us to do this. So we have an envelope, and we can see the cycles in price. You can see how the variance expand and contract based on the volatility, and it gives us an idea of trend, which I think is a very attractive feature to this version of the software. Okay, and then we move on to the next piece of software, which is this one here, and this is the same as the currency strength reversion algo, but now it's the asset strength reversion algo. And like the histogram, this one can trade absolutely anything. So you can go in here, symbols, and you can say enable to all of these and press close, and then change the chart to another time frame or a symbol, and then that will reload all of the symbols here, and it'll power them into the core of the algorithm, and then it'll start trading everything on your platform. I don't recommend that you do that unless you're looking to experiment on the demo account, because I mean you will get tons and tons of fills, and so I advise you to try and slow things down a little bit and just continue to trade the things that you would otherwise normally trade. Okay, so here, I mean, the settings are identical. We have the execution interval, and here we have 10 seconds. Okay, we have the keys that we all have, and the keys that you use on the currency strength reversion algo are the same. I've already copied those to this build, and so your licenses will work as well in this. We have the lot size settings as we have here, the stop multiplier, the target multiplier. Then we have the exposure settings just here. Then we have the daily loss limit, as you can see here, 1% per day, 5% a week, 10% per month. You can change these to whatever you like. And then we have also this include floating limit, and this will include, it'll add the current floating P&L to the daily, weekly, and monthly limits, because this gives a more realistic value. Okay, then we have the filters. We have enable trend filter, which is set to true. Then it's only going to trade in line with the golden mean, the golden line on the histogram. Enable the round number. This is set to true. Well, then it's going to ensure that it's trading at price windows at multiples of 50 pips within 5 pips. And then we have enable the swap filter. And the swap filter is going to prevent the robot from trading instruments and paying a negative carry at midnight when the clocks turn at your broker, because sometimes things can get very expensive. And then we have the range filter. When this is set to true, it's only going to trade symbols that have exceeded their daily range. Or you can say we want symbols that have exceeded their monthly or weekly or daily or 4-hour hourly range. It's up to you. The configuration option is available here. Then we have the look back settings, as we did in the histogram. And then we have the mean settings that we also have in the histogram. And these are the same ones that we had before. Then we have the entry time frames. So everything in the market watch on and between the daily and the 30-minute chart will be scanned for entries, which brings us to the next section, which is allow and block. So if you have something put here in the allow, it'll only trade that. Or if you have something put in the block, it will trade everything besides what you put in the block here. Okay, then we have the trading window, which is telling the software when to trade. So should it trade all the time, which days, which periods of the day, which sessions, and all of this configuration options they're available just here. Then we have the order settings, which are related to the spread, the slippage, and if you want to have multiple instances running, well, then you can modify the magic number here so that the individual instances are not interfering with each other's trades. And that's pretty much it. Now it's running, and the cool thing about this version is that what it's doing is it's trading in line with the mean. And this is very powerful, because if we're looking at the histogram data, we want to know if the histogram on average is either moving higher or lower. Okay, and if it's moving lower, well, then we're probably in a downtrend of some kind, and so you want to be moving into positions that are short, and if it's above, well then the opposite. Okay, so what it's doing here, it's waiting in the current configuration for the histogram to poke into the green line here, but it wants the orange line to be below the 0 line. And this is essentially the entry criteria for the robot. And I'm currently working on an addition which I'll be adding within the next weeks, and this will ensure that we are not just jumping in front of a train, but we're waiting for some kind of a confirmation that will allow the robot to wait until we have, as an example, we could look at this and say, well, we went below this byline, and so it wouldn't jump in here, it would wait until we started to move back in again, so it would actually get in around just here. And so maybe on the last white candle here, it would say, okay, now we've turned around, now it's time to buy. And then it would climb in at this area here. But I'm currently looking into that at the moment. I'm trying to develop an algorithm. Actually, I have an algorithm that's generic enough so that it doesn't have to look at specific candle patterns. It looks at other information which is more generic, which is more flexible. And so this is what I'm currently developing as we speak. Good, well, I'm not going to spend any more time than necessary on this video. This is now available to anyone who wants it and who has been a member for at least 6 months. And this is going to continue to be that way for a period of time. A time will come when I'm completely finished with the algorithm, when it's completely developed and done. Then the people who have it will continue to have access to it as long as they're members, and then the Algo Trader will become a separate product within the Pipnotic offering. It's some kind of a premium. I have no idea what that'll be just yet. But I just want to give committed members this for free, like that we've been doing with the currency strength histogram, because I think it's a really beautiful way to learn about currency strength histogram in this situation, the asset strength, and I really enjoy the feedback that I'm getting from everyone because it's phenomenal. This enables me to continue to improve the algorithm. So if you're using it and you get in before I'm finished, well, then you can continue to use it for as long as you're a member, which I think is great. And I really appreciate all of the studies that many of you have been doing. This has been a really remarkable and educational period for myself, and I know many of the other members in the community. So thanks once again for that. Okay, good. Well, I'm going to wrap it up. If you have any questions, please drop them in the Discord channel or in the video. And once again, thanks so much for watching.